Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about the check hook. It's mainly used when our opponent's coming forwards with straight shots. When they're coming forwards with straight shots like this, that's when we want to catch them. Because as you know, when you're throwing punches is when you're most vulnerable. That's when you're open. So how do we check hook? The check hook is all about pivoting, taking an angle whilst we land the punch. There's two ways we can do this. We can either throw a normal left hook and then just pivot off like this, or we can step with it and get our head even further off to the side and then push off. The first way, we're gonna actually use a little bit of a pull back with our head. All right, so I want you to imagine a hammer thrower. A hammer thrower, as they're throwing the hammer, they're pulling backwards on the hammer. Right, they're pulling it back, and as they pull it back, that means that their knuckles are gonna swing around faster. Okay, the more you pull it back, the more your hand's gonna swing around fast. Okay, so you're actually increasing the power. But the other benefit of that is as I'm pulling back, I'm effectively defending, right? I'm getting further out of range as they're throwing their shots. Okay, I'm getting further out of range and I'm catching them. And I've got a little bit more power. So you're dropping the weight from sort of center or even slightly forward if you're trying to bait them onto that back leg, where you're gonna try basically drop the heel and dig the heel into the ground. As you pull your head back and you're just swinging the arms nice and fast, you're getting the knuckles coming around first, like this. Okay, you're dropping the weight back. You can sort of go heel to toe, toe to heel, pick your lead heel up, just to give you a little bit of extra rotation, but you don't want to go to a point where you're falling off balance or you can't pivot out. So once you've caught them there, right, you need to push off this foot and pivot around 90 degrees. So like this. Just think, dropping the heel, picking the heel up, pushing off the ball of your back foot, coming around 90 degrees, and then you can throw your second phase. The other way of doing it is stepping with it. So you see my front foot is going from here. Actually, can you even see my front foot? Okay, with your front foot, you're gonna step this foot to the point where it's pointing in this direction. So you see how my hip turns? My front foot's nearly pointing forwards. Okay, maybe slightly off the center, so we get a little bit more balance. But you see this whole side of my body turns with my foot to the point where it's facing that way. Okay, when I do that, it's gonna drop my head off to the side, like this. And also that bit of rotation is gonna give me the power in the hook, because we're not twisting before we throw either of these hooks. That's the important part. Sometimes we can slip, we can get more power in the hook, but if we're not doing that, we're trying to throw it from this neutral guard position, we either need to pull back or we can step with this front foot to give us more rotation of the torso like this. Okay, so once we've stepped, we want to be in a position here where both knees are bent, the hips are slightly bent. Right, we don't want to be like this. Well, I mean, we can be, but it just means you'll be a little bit more off balance here than you would here. So we want to be in this sort of position, and we want to bring the hand from sort of low to high. Right? So you're bringing it from about here, right? About elbow height, natural elbow height. Bring it from about there, and you're just twisting it to here. That's where you're catching them as they come in, because they're throwing their cross. Just come over their crosses come past here, and you're catching them over the top there. From here, you're just pivoting off. Okay, but how do we actually set this up? We need to set it up using a jab, all right? So we can touch with the jab as we're going backwards. This always provokes an attack. As soon as we feel ourselves hit the ropes, we know that it's pretty likely they're gonna throw. We want to time them as soon as we see them start reacting. We're touching the jab, going backwards, like that, okay? And then we'll come, basically we want to circle back round to the center, so we've got all that open space behind us if we're more on the back foot, and it also gives us an opportunity to attack when they're still facing this way from throwing their punches. If you found that video useful, then I've got loads of other great videos. There'll be one linked on the screen now, so go give that a watch. Goodbye.